The Legend of Heroes Trails Through Daybreak 2 follows hot off the heels of Trails Through Daybreak, which brought some innovation to the Trails franchise with its updated engine and the field battle system. Fortunately for fans, Trails Through Daybreak's addicting gameplay mechanics and memorable party members are back and seemingly better than ever in the sequel. Thanks to Nipponichi Software America, Final Weapon attended a preview event for Trails Through Daybreak 2 to see what the new RPG brings in store for returning Trails fans. Similarly to Trails Through Daybreak, Trails Through Daybreak 2 begins with Fan Arkwright getting a knock on his front door, waking the roguish protagonist from his slumber. This time, the Almada crisis is over, and Arkwright Solutions is fully established as a crew instead of a one-man operation. The main story is set 3 months after the ending of Trails Through Daybreak, placing the sequel's events at the beginning of the year 1209. Undoubtedly, time is also something players will have to take note of in Trails Through Daybreak 2. A mysterious Crimson Grendel is causing chaos all over Edith, and Arkwright Solutions are tasked with finding out what exactly is going on. This isn't surprising since the Blue Grendel is intrinsically linked with Van, as Trails Through Daybreak's story previously showed. Meanwhile, Swin Abel and Nadia Rain are now in the capital of Calvard on the search for a certain someone. You can definitely expect their past to intertwine with Van's as Trails Through Daybreak 2 has a different approach to his story, taking cues from Trails into Reverie. A timeline system is present in Trails Through Daybreak 2, with each act having multiple viewpoints to experience the story from. At the preview event, we saw the party consist of Elaine, Zin, Swin, and Nadia as they investigated the condemned sector. This is an entirely different branch in the timeline from Van's in Act 1, and certain events in the story may have you going back to a specific point to head down another branch in the timeline. The preview event was rather light on story details, but it's clear that Arkwright Solutions and the leading stars of the Picnic Squad are involved in a grand plot. I'm very intrigued to see how the story will unfold in Trails Through Daybreak 2, since it's more character-focused than Trails Through Daybreak. Essentially, the story will delve into many different character arcs throughout its course, so players will know some answers to questions they may have had about certain Arkwright Solutions members in Trails Through Daybreak. It's also worth noting that the alignment system from Trails Through Daybreak also makes a return, but there's less emphasis placed on this feature during the main story this time. Field and command battles return with some great quality of life improvements and new features, including a better UI and some new field attacks. Characters can now cast arts in field battles, and you can unleash a cross-charge attack if you perfectly dodge an enemy's attack. Pushing the correct button prompt on the screen will swap in another party member to execute a powerful cross-charge and empower the swapped-in character for a duration. Players can now perform X-chains in command battles by meeting certain conditions. After meeting these conditions, a craft or normal attack with the SCLM, a linked party member, against a stunned enemy will activate an X-chain. This joint attack will also impact nearby enemies in a radius, dealing major damage. The UI in command battles has been adjusted to improve readability as well. You can usually expect more in a sequel compared to its predecessor, and that's certainly clear with drivers and arts. There are more drivers with varied art layouts, new hollow cores, and all new dual arts, which combine two elements for a high-level arts attack with special animations and effects. Dual arts are available from certain drivers and courts in the game, so there's an added level of customization to explore with orbments. With these improvements and new additions, it's clear that combat is flashier than ever before in the Trails series. It appears that combos and field attacks and field battles are also more responsive as well. The improved quality of life will certainly have a positive impact on the Mirhin Garden Virtual Dungeon, which acts similarly to Trails into Reverie's True Reverie Corridor. The Mirhin Garden wasn't shown in the Trails Through Daybreak 2 preview event, so we'll need to wait a little longer to see what's in store. Trails Through Daybreak gave players an in-depth look into Calvard, the country's struggles, and the direction the Trails series is going. As a direct continuation, Trails Through Daybreak 2 will wrap up the loose ends with some characters and, of course, the crisis involving the 8 Genesis. Arkwright Solutions and the other playable characters will go on an adventure once more across Calvard, so I'm also excited to see what's new and different this time around. For instance, Messeldam, a major trade hub mentioned quite often in Trails Through Daybreak, will be explorable. There will be plenty of side quests to discover too, without a doubt. I'm very curious to experience the story and uncover the mysteries behind the Crimson Grendel and 8th Genesis. It's also clear that the timeline system is there for a specific purpose besides adding a new dynamic for overall story progression. As a result, there's a lot of intriguing elements in Trails Through Daybreak 2 that adds a sense of mystery early on. In short, the preview event showed that Trails Through Daybreak 2 looks to be another exciting RPG from Falcom with dozens of hours of content. Moreover, the quick localization turnaround bodes well for future releases. Nipponichi Software America was able to streamline their process with their most recent releases, including Trails Through Daybreak and East 10 Nordics, thanks to Falcom handing over the scripts a lot sooner. The Legend of Heroes Trails Through Daybreak 2 launched on February 14, 2025 for Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and PC via Steam, GOG, and Epic Game Store in the West.